OFM is actually kind of so simple, but don't misconstrue simple with easy. And this is honestly what so many people get wrong. So the 2026 OFM market is not like previous years that we've seen before. We're in the kind of like market maturing phase, or the market's actually, I would say, pretty matured from what it used to be. And again, do not misconstrue market maturity with dying. A lot of people get that wrong purely because now it actually takes a level of competent operators to succeed. Of course, like a few years back when I first got in, this is what I always tell people as well. It's like I was literally working at Tesco. Shit was easy mode. My skill set was stacking shelves, and yet I was still able to turn over $100,000 a month. If that doesn't tell you about where an industry was, then I don't know what will. And you need not get this confused, because there's still so many people entering this space. Like, abundance is almost infinite. But do not just try and chase the quick wins, because there was a time and a place for those, and the boat has kind of set sail. Chasing them now is just an absolute fool's game. And I'm not here saying that they don't still happen. Like, I've still seen models that I've signed go on to scale extremely quickly. I've still seen peers and mentees models that go on to sign and scale extremely quickly, but I would just say that it happens in lesser proportion now. Here's the 2026 playbook: longevity. I personally thought this was going to be like a little 1 year stint, in and out business model, but here I still am 3 years later, still crushing it to my respective numbers. So I'll say in this OFM business model, you've got kind of 5 pillars, and 5 key pillars that I would say that you need to be aware of on actually how to succeed. Number 1, you've got your knowledge. Do you even know what the fuck to do? Like, if you don't have this, then you're not gonna succeed in any way, shape or form. Number 2, you've then got obviously your recruitment, which is obviously how you go on to sign models. The entire playbook's around that, how it's changed in 2026 to what it was previously. What do high quality models look for? How do you get their attention? Number 3 is marketing, and how this has changed over the years. What we're seeing now in 2026, which I'm going to go into a lot deeper in, and I'm actually going to cover marketing in a completely separate video, because I also think that's relatively simple. Again, not easy, but there is playbooks for how to succeed in it, and it just changes the way that you actually approach it. You know, and I would always say, marketing isn't taught in a YouTube video. Yes, maybe the fundamentals, the knowledge, but you're going to get way more value out of practically applying the things that you've learned, failing, succeeding, doubling down. And that's how you're actually going to get good at that skill. And let me tell you now, marketing, pertaining to any business, but more specifically OFM, is one of the highest leverage skills that you could get good at. You've next got sales on the back end. So you're signing your models, you're generating them traffic. What happens now? You've got an influx of subs in the account. Well, how do you actually turn that into cash? How do you convert those, I guess, enticed customers to upsold paying clients and into those whales that are dropping thousands on your model every single month? Scripts, emotional intelligence, objection handling, the lot. None of this stuff is overly complicated. I always just say sales is sales, but it needs consistency. You need to have it dialed in order to succeed. Otherwise, you're leaving so much money on the table. Next, and probably my favorite part, is the scaling aspect. And this is honestly where I see so many people getting it wrong. You know, hiring your team, your virtual assistants to run operations. You've got training your team. You've got systems. You've got daily and weekly flows. You've got outsourcing properly. You've then got enforcing this amongst your creators and actually making sure that you're working with the right creators. You know, make sure that there isn't a ceiling on your roster and you're just gonna say capped forever. I always see the scaling aspect is usually where it operates around the 40, 50, 60, hell, even like 80K plus month mark. Even those operators doing 100, 150K a month, they still might be running around like headless chickens. And some people like to claim that they're working with leverage, but really they're probably over leveraged if they're working with like 1 or 2 creators who are the bulk of that revenue. Anyway, what we're talking about now is how all of your efforts go on to become multiplied, because you only have 24 hours in a day. Like, that's the sad truth, my friend. And you can hustle as much as you want, but you're gonna get to a point where you get burnt out. Every decision runs through you. You're not going to feel good one day, and then all of a sudden, when it was so important for you to be online, have your bandwidth to make a key decision, you're probably going to flop the nuts. And until you go through that and experience that pain, you might not take in the magnitude of what I'm saying here. You might also hit what I like to call the pain line. Shout out to Dan Martell, which is where you get up to a certain revenue figure and you physically can't do any more. Like I say, maybe you're maxing out 18 hours a day, back to back to back. You can't leave your desk. Maybe you're still in chats. Maybe you're still doing all model communications, all model marketing, still trying to hire and scale and find VAs without no system in place. Like, there's a bunch of different components, and you need to have all of it dialed in order to be able to actually scale, not only to break through that 6-figure a month mark, but obviously having to sustain that and then grow beyond. After I break each of these components down, you're gonna wanna stay to the end of the video, because I'm gonna be taking you through something which is like the non-egotistical audit, which is where I see like 90% of operators get caught in the trap of, because I don't know why, the OFM space in general is filled with a bunch of dudes you probably come up with still watching Tate online, right? And everyone's got these big inflated egos when they're probably not half as good as they say they are. They're hustling their way up to 20, 30K a month, walking away with maybe like 5K profit after they pay a team because they want to live a leveraged life, fuck off out to Bali, or hell, even go like live an over leveraged life in Dubai or something, take a few Instagram pictures and look like they're living. But the reality is, on the back end, it's not always the case. And many of people don't actually understand what it takes to run a business. And that's where I obviously maybe lose a lot of you. There's a lot of people who will resonate to that. And so I'll be speaking to you guys more than in at the end, after I run through all of the points here about what you need to know about why OFM is so simple. So let's take this all the way back to the beginning, because the very first pillar in which I covered was knowledge, right? How are you going to even enter into a market where you don't know what to do? And I've kind of already pretty much covered it here. Like, the whole premise of the business model is just like sign clients, market those clients via social media, use that social media with social media strategies which not only get attention but convert attention to the OnlyFans page on the back end. On the OnlyFans page on the back end, you're then going to have your sales team. Well, it might be you to begin with, bro. Eventually, when you scale up and have a chat agency, internal chat team on there, who are absolutely Filipino killer trained savages, or it's Africans or Nigerians, wherever you go on to choose, I don't care. Serbians if you want. Hell, you might even hire your boy from the UK. The sales team on the back end, which is what is going to be able to multiply all them front end efforts. All the front end efforts on acquiring the model, acquiring the traffic, and then generating that into revenue. The last thing, like I always mentioned, is like, that's like the whole business model fundamentals, and then we're moving into operations last, is because that's how, like, how do you bring all of these together in, you know, a well working oiled machine that scales beyond you, where you can start to hire people so processes and tasks are carried out on your behalf, whether that be in the recruitment front. They were getting a recruitment assistant initially, and then a recruitment manager, and then an onboarding manager, getting people like a marketing manager, marketing assistants, creative strategists. Obviously you've got chatters, chat managers. That's a pretty simplistic flow. And then obviously, like, you might end up having HR, operations managers. And that's when things really get fruitful. So knowledge, the first thing that you need to do is go and get your knowledge up, bro. And let me just touch on the last point I'm going to go through, the egotistical thing. At every different stage of your OFM journey, whether you're at like 0, or whether you're at like 10K like a month, or whether you're at like 50K a month, you always need to say that, like, there's something that you obviously don't know. Because if you knew something, your results would reflect that, right? As entrepreneurs, like, you're pretty much ranked on, like, you know, realistically how good you are as an entrepreneur based on, I would say, probably net worth, but plus also monthly recurring revenue, and also potentially annual run rate, because there is fluctuations in monthly recurring revenue because we're in a bit of a volatile business. Hope I'm not losing too much of you here. But essentially what you always have to kind of audit is, where's my knowledge at? Right? And do you actually have all of the knowledge in what it takes to succeed? And knowledge pertains to all of those latter ones, so in recruitment, in marketing, and obviously in sales and operations. So throughout your journey, you're always going to need to constantly strive to get better. Strive to get your knowledge up through networking, joining consultancy programs and getting mentorship. Link down below if you're a struggling OFM agency. Even go ahead and just researching through YouTube. There's a lot of free resources out there you can go ahead and benefit from. So I don't want to overbore you with driving the point home that you need to get your knowledge up. Throughout whatever stage you're at, it needs to always constantly improve, and that's how you get to the next level. Do you not think that the operators doing 6 figures per month know something that the 4-figure a month operators don't? Well, of course we do. The thing is, at different stages, you obviously just need to understand, internalize that yourself personally to be able to take the necessary actions so that you can grow into that next stage. Right, now we've cleared the importance of knowledge, we'll get into recruitment. The simplicity of recruitment actually pertains to how you need to approach it. And unfortunately, bro, it's not as easy as it was back in 2022, 2020, or whenever it was that you first heard about OFM and should have got involved. You can't no longer just send a few DMs, get a model reply, get her on the phone, and just get her signed. To a degree, that's probably how an outbound process works. However, you need to come with a lot more tactics. I've done this in a whole nother YouTube video, which you can go and check. It's like a full 1-hour breakdown of how to succeed signing models in 2026. But the main key points here for you to cover for you, again, showing the simplicity of it, is that you just need to undertake the actions necessary to success within that, I guess, game, or like the sub game, right? Talking about OFM and then recruitment is like the sub game. That being, right, if you're doing outbound, well, look at all of the variables which pertain to a successful outreach. The profile that you're outreaching from, does it pre-sell the model? Does it speak to a specific avatar? Is there a face behind it? Do you have a specific agency brand? Like, does something look trustworthy as to where a model is going to get a DM, look at this account and go, you know what? They could scale me to 50K a month. They could scale me to 30K a month. They could scale me to 100K a month. Or do they look at it and go, wow, this is my 8th DM of the same cookie cutter agency page that I've seen 100 times. Or wow, this guy looks like a fucking dork. Why would I work with him, right? You got to marry up all these variables, bro. Let's just be straight up honest about it. Some of you dudes, yeah, definitely need to go to the barber and get a little style upgrade for your wardrobe, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm talking about is recruitment. You've got many processes. You've got things like producing content, which as you can see me actively doing right here, right now. Obviously this is for many different reasons, growing my personal brand. That's inadvertently going to help me throughout reaching models, throughout reaching clients, even to reach an audience, which is another reason why I do this, for impact, to help all younger guys who are out there trying to actually succeed with a OFM or a business in general. But the main thing that I'm covering here is obviously you need to set up how you look. And building a personal brand or building an agency brand is pretty much paramount to success. So that's whether you're even doing like outbound, hell, even if you move into doing ads and targeting creators that way, hell, if you move into trying to get referrals and networking, you still need some sort of credibility, and hell bro, even if you go ahead and fake it, just make it look legitimate, right? You can get the results afterwards. You can put the hustle and the work in to actually generate these results therein after. I will say there is one caveat to this though, which I'm unfortunately going to explain to you. And I say unfortunate because not many other people in the OFM space will tell you there is a significant difference between signing a model and signing a high quality model. Because right now I can probably tell you there's probably like 10 leads in my DMs, just some chubby Colombian or Venezuelan model that looks about like an absolute 3 out of 10, which is trying to shoot off an absolute Nokia brick. Well, she's probably not going to go very many places on socials, bro. And so you might want to start there. But if you are an agency, which is probably the more the people I'm speaking to, that has a bit of motion, well, you probably want to increase or like improve the targeting that you have. Like try and build a bit of an avatar, like a type of model that you want to work with, and don't settle. Because the more you compromise, the more you lead to an end, or like the more you end up on a bit of more of a compromised life. And that's just a bit of general game for you there. But in your recruitment process, you know, try and set things up so that you can either attract or that you are getting the attention of models of at least some stature caliber, so that you can actually go on to hit those higher revenue numbers. And so what actually is a high quality model? My simple definition, again, I can go off on a tangent on this, but I would say that they have a good mindset, hardworking and available. They understand social media to a pretty good degree, and they're marketable. Marketable, I think, is one of the leading success variables these days. In terms of like, I've worked with a lot of creators more recently, and I've had some creators, absolutely fantastic work rate, but you look at them and there's just nothing distinctive about them. They're a lot harder to, you know, get viral. You have to engineer a lot of virality. You have to build a bit more of an artificial brand and persona, which is what we'll cover there in the marketing in just a moment. So we're in an authenticity and trust economy. Make sure that point that I just mentioned there is paramount. Marketing, right? And what are you gonna do here? So you've got your model, you now set up, maybe you've started to get her onboarded. I could go through onboarding, but look bro, you can do some simplistic stuff, add her to a Telegram group, send her an onboarding form with answering the questions that you need to get her personal information to give to the sales team on the back end and start to build a bit of a brand persona for her marketing. There you go, just literally run that, transcribe that, put that into Claude and get it to build you the SOP for it if you need to. Nonetheless, moving into marketing, how marketing's changed in 2026. I'll say that I've not seen many people talk about this, not that I really consume too much of OFM content, but I was speaking with one of my other friends the other day, and he's running a multi 6-figure month agency, even a couple of my friends who do this. And what we was all basically coming to the conclusion is, Instagram is being very generous these days when you know how to play it. And a couple of tips for you guys. The reason why I mentioned about marketability with models when you run your recruitment is because marketing these days, Instagram, I don't know why people have got this conception about being stuck in 200, 300 view jail. All that signals to you is Instagram can't tell yet who it needs to serve your content to. So you've got two things. You need to not be egotistical and your content's genuinely shit and it's just not engaging at all. Or two, you're not really targeting a certain subset, niche, or an audience. And so that's probably the second thing you need to figure out. And it took me a little while to wrap my head around this. We've always been pretty good at marketing, but going that layer deeper. And when we did this, when we positioned our models to sort of attract a certain target market, this is when we saw massive success. Not only in the views and reach we was getting because we was more dialed with it, but the conversions and the LTVs of these conversions, they're so much better. Especially like I mentioned to you, there's a lot of people operating in the current like OFM landscape and they're struggling or they don't know what to do and they can't figure out why. That's because the market's changed. And a lot of people are just not evolving or adapting. Hence why it's very valuable for me to come on here and drop this game back to you guys, but for you to have someone around who is literally probably at the forefront of OFM in terms of their network, in terms of someone who's actively at the front line of running a big agency. These types of things will obviously fast track your success. Undoubtedly. Secondarily, in the marketing point, I mentioned this earlier, but like, you don't get good at marketing just through watching videos, bro. You can watch all the marketing videos in the world. You can watch Hormozy, you can watch me, you can watch some other OFM gurus, you can watch some reels, and reels is probably where you're going to find out the most, right? And when I say reels, I don't mean just like watching some info guys reels. I mean watching models reels, because when you think that you are good at marketing, it's all good and well going, oh yeah, I understood why that video went viral. But a lot of people these days are still trying to copy Sophie Rain, bro. They're still trying to do TikTok dance and go viral with some bang average model. Like, what the fuck? Like, if you are seriously sending your model like TikTok dances these days and thinking that you're going to make like any amount of figure above fucking 5 figures a month, bro, you're kind of cooked, G. Unless you have like some heavily branded or unique model, right? Those basic content types, you know, they kind of supersede a basic content type because of her look or something, then you're kind of cooked, bro. So I'd say what you need to do is like, the very first thing is, again, not being egotistical, get in the trenches, G. Spend some time watching these reels. Spend some time looking at the OFM models that are succeeding the most. Go on their accounts. You can use something called Sort Feed, which you can download as a Chrome extension. You can open models accounts on you, and this will be like a good process in order to get your eye more trained at being better at marketing. This is what I did some time ago. And it helps so dramatically. It's like, you can look at all of the successful models and rank their reels on like best performers and worst. Like, I don't know, you can rank it for like the last 100, 500, 200, whatever, and see what the top ones have in common. And try and break down and study like, why are they going viral? And then go scroll down and then look at the bottom. And remember the point that I just mentioned in the video about the targeting. You'll probably see something in relation to that about how videos have gone so viral and how they've performed so well versus the ones that haven't. And oftentimes what you'll see is like, and also there's, you know, back-end variables such as like, what content type is it? What TAM are you targeting? Things like, yeah, like the actual concept of the video, is it even like a good idea that you are posting out? How consistent you being, you know, a bunch of others, but trying to, again, be a little bit more simplistic for this video, is in the fact that you want to see like, okay, are they doing like some repeatable formats? Is there something that's consistently going viral? Why is it going viral? Buyer psychology. Think about a simp's workflow, and I love to use this terminology. Think about a gooner's workflow, bro. Like, he's gonna, I don't know, go to work or he's unemployed or some shit, and you know, there's all different archetypes of these guys. They're gonna go home, they're gonna sit at home, fucking scroll on reels, see your model pop up, like maybe they get interested, maybe the piece of content was good, that's paramount, that you're actually producing good content. They click through to your profile, they binge a bit, they follow, they fuck off, they hop back online a few hours, do the same thing, see your model, laugh a little bit more, do the same thing, fuck off, next day, come back, see your model again, get a little bit more intrigued, something makes them laugh, they're in a bit of a horny mood because they've been watching a bunch of other models, and they click through and subscribe. In a nutshell, right? There's probably a little bit more that goes into it. But that's how you want to approach marketing in general. So when you're thinking about the content and how you actually are building the brand for your model, you need to approach it so that, you know, for success to a degree, in terms of like how you position your model with some sort of USPs or some sort of differentiated conversion mechanism, so that you're not just getting the front end attention for your good ideas, that you're able to creatively direct for her. So that's why I talk about marketing in that case, a little bit more complex, simple, but there's steps to take. And that's what I'm basically trying to get out in this video, is like, no matter what stage you're at, and this is why sometimes third-party help or third-party overview of your current situation can help dramatically, because sometimes you might think, oh, I've got a bottleneck over here, but really the main bottleneck's here, and you might not have been able to see it because you're in the weeds. And the reason I'm saying that is because oftentimes, bro, business is literally just inputs and outputs. So there's usually just a simplistic set of inputs. If you just focus and allocate your time on, you would resolve and open up the constraint that would allow you to scale to the next level. So going back to it, it's testing formats, it's iterating, and that's a big one. I don't see many people iterating. It's like, try a bunch of formats, get up to like 2-3 posts a day of high quality content on one account. Then you can really get your data, and then after the end of the week, go, what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work, how can we improve? Right? Is it the model's energy, is it the model's appearance, is it the model's positioning, is it the ideas? And the more you can break this stuff down, the better that you will get, and the better results you will get. The better results you will get, the better clients that you can then go on to attract. So this is marketing 101. Spend some time studying the game, try some things out, be brutally honest with yourself, test and iterate, spend some more time studying, realize you're not as good as you think you are, try some more things out, and understand this final point is the fact that like, your model might be the ceiling. You know, I've worked with 50 plus, 100 plus models at this point, and a common thread that I see amongst myself and other agencies is that not all the time, you can have the best marketing in the world, and if you've just got a model that won't complete content, completes it to a low standard, you're always going to be capped. So like I mentioned in the front end there about the recruitment, again, that might be an issue where you need to evaluate your roster and then upgrade it. That's what I'm talking this whole thing about, like the simplicity of OFM. It's literally just like a series of audits. What's working, what's not working, how do I grow? Okay, what are the necessary actions I need to take? Going and taking the actions. And I've done another video on my channel called The Theory of Constraints. And this one is super valuable for any agency that kind of feels stuck right now. So go tap into that, and that will kind of break down how you can try and find what your constraint is and what actions you need to take in order to resolve it and open up throughput so you can scale. And then just kind of touching on sales, like in my opinion, sales is sales. Like, I don't know how to describe, but sales always found something that's like a little bit easier. It's a lot of people that get into the space, they do like super basic, shitty, retarded chatting. But a lot of people that have been in the space for some time, you know that it's literally just like communicating with men, subtly basically selling content to them. I'm not really gonna go too deep into this. It's like, in the end of the day, building rapport as you would. All of you guys know how to communicate, I would hope. Most of you have, you know, made it through life this far. And you also understand sales. You also probably understand horny conversations, you little pests. But you'll know how to obviously pertain that to obviously acting like a girl's man and then get all the bunch of money out of these guys. You've got things that make this a lot easier, things like scripts. And obviously this is something that I do also see across a lot of agencies, like their scripts are super basic, or they're just like a little bit retarded. Like they don't actually push subscribers through some psychologically ascending flow. And then they wonder why nothing's really converting or they're just getting ghosted. You've then got things like I mentioned about emotional intelligence, so it's how to handle each and every fan. So not every fan needs to be handled the same. You've got whales, you've got non-spenders, you've got in the middle spenders, you've got how to treat them with attention, how to give them a little bit more of a USP in the chats, like a more unique experience to differentiate yourself to the hundreds of models he's probably subscribed to. You've also got things like objection handling, like how are you going to approach when you know, the guy trying to tell you he's got no money. You're going to teach your chatter on how to walk them through getting a credit card. Rapport building, so how you're actually now, like with those whales, those guys who have shown intent of spending, how are you keeping them around? How are you building your relationship with them? All of these things are kind of like, I don't know, common sense to a degree, but I do think that this is probably something that you can either go and outsource and get a chatting agency. And you know, if you are looking for somebody to handle your chats, also just hit me up. I'm probably very much likely help you with that. But also on the front end, it's like you probably need to try to get better at it yourself before you go on to outsource, because imagine trying to teach some third world Filipino how to chat on an account when you don't even know yourself. It's going to be like an absolute shit show. You're leaving so much revenue on the table. So again, like this isn't like overly complicated sales. What would probably get complicated is when you have to go into like the team building, like I mentioned about training Filipinos, having some sort of systems, having some sort of training, and going through a bit of like a hiring and filtering process. So the back end of this, like the whole scaling protocol, and obviously this is where it gets a lot more like high level. This is where you talk about like hiring VAs, like what's your hiring flow like. We have stringent systems and SOPs now for when we hire anyone within our company. We have like a 7-point system where we take like, you know, applicants through tests, or like we've got like first round questionnaire, we've then got tests, and then we've got first round interview, then we've got another test, and then we've got like trial periods. And then we move into like actual onboarding and stuff like that. And that obviously gets custom built. You know, we've got some real cool like AI softwares that we're using at the minute, even where we just get like the basic system for what we're hiring, give all of the information to someone like Claude, give it a system prompt, and then we'll get custom built out like exactly what we are looking for. So super cool ways that you can use leverage, and especially in the scaling aspect, which I don't see many agencies doing, baking like AI over the top of just pre-existing workflows, AI and sort of automation. One of the last things, or not one of the last things, actually got a few more points to touch on, but leadership as well is something that I think is really important, which is like a skill that no one really talks about teaching you in the OFM space, especially when it comes to scaling your company. When you actually look at it from the aspect of like a company, not just like, oh, I'm just hustling with a few models, got a little agency G. When you're actually talking about growing a business and growing a company, you have to take it a lot more formally, and leadership is something or a skill that you need to develop. This comes through how do you enforce standards? How are you polite and respectful, yet incite the fire within your team in order to succeed, in order to carry out their tasks on your behalf? So there's a lot more to this whole leadership thing, making like big decisions, and that is why you eventually need to free up your bandwidth. You'll probably see in some of my short forms on Instagram, which I talk about. I always talk about how as a founder, you need to have your bandwidth brought back. It's all good being an operator, but being an operator versus an owner. And I don't see many people talk about this in the space either, is like, everyone tries to be too much of an owner without being an operator first. And there's definitely tendencies of the two that overlap. But I do also think that like, you just need to be a good leader in general, and this just helps you in later life. And the way I would probably approach this is like, think of this as a bit of a game, guys. Like, how good can you get at like maxing out all of your stats, like leadership, at marketing, at recruitment, like, and obviously the results can literally show, like you can have like metrics like how good is your model roster, like how good is your marketing, like how many views you're getting, like what's your conversion like, you know, how many, like what's your revenue like how good are you as a business owner in general, all of these things. And I would look at a game and just like continually strive for progression in trying to max out all of your stats. You've got things like the whole buzzword of systems, like weekly flows, and obviously outsourcing, but I would say like systems are actually really quite important. It's like how you can consistently replicate, or in a replicated manner, deliver value to, I guess, a subset market, and that's obviously how you go on to get compensated. And so systems are basically, you know, I think I've done a whole video on this, or not, in the course or something, in terms of like, it's just a basically kind of document of all of your processes, or all of the processes within that pertain to a sort of like relevant outcome. So you've got like maybe a marketing system. It's like, what do you do end to end? Just a little bit of information for you guys. Like for example, for the marketing, you might have like your branding, and then you have like a research phase, and then you have like a model request, then you have like a virtual creative direction with the model. Like you might actually hop on and do that with her. And then you have like upload content, then you have first round feedback, then you have editing, then you have distribution, and then you have, you know, data, and then you have another round of feedback, and then you've got more research, and then you've got optimization, and then it's just like this whole, you know, loop round fed machine. And that's how deep it can go, guys. Like, and again, I always see like the bell curve of people who overcomplicate, of people who undercomplicate. And you want to end up like going through this phase, right? You want to probably be like, maybe if you're starting out, you're like, oh shit, I've got so much information to know. Like there's actually a way to grow this business, right? Rather than just hustling. And then you go up all the way through, and then like you got to be careful not to like undercomplicate it. Obviously, I see a lot of guys just getting stuck in the middle, where they're not really doing everything right, they're not really doing everything wrong, and they're just kind of stuck like going around in circles. And bro, I was like that for so long. Especially my first couple of years, like if someone told me the information that I know now back then, decamillionaire mode. But is what it is. I guess it's just the path that God chose for me. So this is where, like I say, you can probably hustle your way to like 30, 50, maybe even 80K a month. But beyond that, like you need leverage, especially if you want to like consistently hit those numbers, but also consistently hit those numbers with freedom. Like, bro, like what are you actually doing this for? That's what I always have to question when I go into this game. It's like, it's all good and well hustling 18 hours a day. Like everyone can do that. It's not fucking hard. I think like the earlier stages are actually the most easy, in terms of all you have to do is try and give up all of your time in terms of delivering as much value to a marketplace, and you will just be reciprocated. But it's how do you get out of that, right? Like how do you actually start free up some of your time? Like spend some time with your family, go on holiday a little bit, and have a little bit of a relax so you can reset your bandwidth, so you can come back with fresh ideas. How do you actually have time to head into London, Dubai, and network and attend some masterminds, instead of like just sitting at your desk? Because you'll hit a certain ceiling and then you can't get beyond that. I was literally on a coaching call with a potential future mentee the other day, and he was telling me this exact position that he's in. So I've got very good round data to know exactly where people are at, and you know, the kind of struggling points and how to get them to and from that, having already lived it myself as well. But like I mentioned, this is where you need leverage, because this is where like all of your efforts then go on to get multiplied. So imagine like you're like pushing, let's say you're pushing 1 ounce of effort. Imagine you've got another 3 people also pushing with you. And you know, it's not just like you can push 4 ounces of effort. The thing is, when you've got all of these people with you as well, there's a theory like with I think it's like the Trojan horses, or these types of horses or something, when it's like one of them pulling a weight alone can pull like one ton. 2 of them can pull 3 tons. So it's not actually linear in terms of the growth that you can sort of achieve through building your company properly. And so like here, like a very non-egotistical audit, it's like, if you're not generating the results that you currently want to, there's obviously a reason. And you might not be able to inside out basically audit yourself out of that and then take the necessary action. I don't know, because it's a accountability flaw, or whether it's like a general knowledge flaw and you don't actually quite know what to do. You don't have the confidence to take that action that you know you need to. And you can basically just accept that you're not good enough. And I don't say that as an insult. Like a very big agency owner said this to me very recently, and it kind of got me thinking. It's just like, yeah, ego literally gets in the way each and every time. I think there's a lot of operators in the space that ego is holding them back, and they're scared to admit it because of their ego. Right? And the beautiful thing is, like, this is just the starting point. And once I got told this, kind of reset my nervous system, I was just ready to go again and just get back in that mode, which taking action on what I know I need to do, which will actually grow things for me personally. Most important thing to know as well is like, you need to collect your data. I think you need to collect your data across the board. I don't just mean like for your KPIs for your agency, but like collect your data on everything. What are you trying? What are you personally doing each and every day? What results are you generating? Like, always collect your data and always be iterating. So to round off the video, this is why I go on to say, like, OFM is relatively simple. It's definitely by no means easy, but that's just the game of life. Like any business model that you get into, e-com, don't try and trade, but an AI agency or whatever it is, like none of them are necessarily just easy. And the window of opportunity isn't going to be here forever. I think especially even in the OFM space, especially as we're reaching market maturity, there's going to become a real, I guess, gap between the operators at the top and those newly starting out struggling to get in. So my advice, get started, get cracking as soon as possible, get the advice that you need, seek the mentorship, the help, research a lot, try a bunch of stuff, fail forward, fail fast, and you'll succeed, bro. It's as easy as that. All you have to do is abide by the laws that are governing the game that you're playing. So if you're struggling to locate your biggest bottleneck, go ahead and drop me a DM on IG or push through my Telegram and drop me a message there. I'll see if I can just drop you a quick audit and help you locate where that is so you can start to allocate your time and attention 10 times more efficiently and get the results that you desire. As always, been Mason, my new Mace, or just double M. Catch you in the next video.